Hello grade 7, hope you all are doing well. Today we will start solving the science revision sheet. This is Miss Mary. The science revision sheet will be including chapter 11, 12 and 13. Chapter 11 about classification, 12 about bacteria and virus, and chapter 13 about protists and fungi. So let's start with the first question, multiple choice. In the first question, in order what are the three levels of classification in addition to domain, kingdom, family, genus, and species? So here, if we notice here, we will find that between kingdom and family, we have three levels missing here. So what are these three levels? As we know that after kingdom, what comes after kingdom? Phylum, and after phylum, class, and then order. So the answer for this question would be letter C. Okay. So let's go to question 2. The scientific name of an organism comes from its, as we know, scientists, they put the scientific name to stop confusion. And any scientific name consists of two parts. The first part is a genus name and then the species name. So together they make the scientific name. So the answer will be for question 2 is D. Question 3. What can you find by working through the statements in a dichotomous key? The dichotomous key is a guide that helps you to identify the organisms by giving you every time two statements or two sentences to choose from. So the answer for question 3, the dichotomous key helps you to identify an organism. So the answer will be question 3 is letter A. Question 4. What happened that made it necessary for scientists to add new domains and kingdoms? What makes scientists add domains and kingdoms to their classification? Of course, the answer for this question, when they discover new organisms. And when they discover new organisms, they have new properties and new characteristics that don't fit in any kingdom. So they have to make for them new kingdoms. So the answer for this question would be letter A. When they discovered new organisms. Question 5. How many domains are recognized today? How many domains we have for today? We have 3 domains. The 3 domains are bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. Question 6. The science of describing, classifying, and naming organisms. This science, as we said before, it includes 3 things. First, they describe organisms, and then they classify them to groups, and then they put names, scientific name. The 3 are the 3 parts of the taxonomy. This is the science that that includes describing, classifying, and naming. Question 7. What do scientists use to refer to organisms because common names can create confusion? Scientists, as we said before, they put for organisms Latin names, scientific names, nicknames, or first names. Scientists, of course, they put scientific names, which consist of genus name and species name. So the answer will be C. Question 8. The 3 most general levels of classification from general, from the biggest to specific to the smallest. So if we will order the levels here from the biggest to the smallest, we will start with kingdom, family, class, or domain, kingdom, phylum, or kingdom, domain, and order, or kingdom, domain, and family. And as we know, the biggest one is domain. And after domain is kingdom, and then phylum. So the answer for this question will be letter B. Question 9. What is the science of taxonomy? And this question we had it before, but in different way. In this one, what means taxonomy? Taxonomy is describing, classifying, and naming living things. So the answer will be letter B. Okay, so let's go to the next page. How many levels of classification do scientists use for today? If you remember, the levels of classifications are 8. We have 8 levels of classification starting from domain until species. Question 11. How do fungi take in and use nutrients from their surroundings? As we know that fungi, they are heterotrophs, they get nutrients from outside. But of course, they capture the answer for letter A, they capture and kill them. They chop and swallow them. They absorb and chew them, or they absorb and digest them. Fungi, they release like digestive juices, and these digestive juices, it helps in breaking down the dead organisms. So they absorb and digest them. Of course, they don't kill them. So the answer will be letter D. Question 12. What must a plant be exposed to for photosynthesis to occur? Plants, they need, what do they need? They need cold water, food, sunlight, energy. Of course, they need sunlight because they are producers. Question 13. Why do the Chacabo people of Bolivia use classification? Here, those people, they were the first people to classify, to make classification, and when they started classification, they classified plants into the useful one that they can use for eating or for medicine, and the one that they don't need or they don't use. So to understand which plants are useful and which are not. So question 13, the answer is letter C. Question 14. Which of the following is considered by scientists when classifying organisms? What scientists keep in mind when they classify organisms? Backbones, how humans use the organism, or if they have feathers or no, or if they have hair or no. Of course, when they classify, they don't keep in mind how humans use organisms, because it depends on which country and depends on which culture, so they don't use this when they classify organisms. Question 15, when did scientists stop classifying living things as either plants or animals? Scientists stopped classifying them to plants or animals when they discovered organisms that did not fit in either group. When they discovered new organisms like Euglena. If you remember Euglena, we said it makes food like plants and it moves like animals. So this was so confusing for scientists, and that's why they start to put new kingdoms like Protist Kingdom. So the answer for this question will be letter A, when they discovered organisms that did not fit into either groups. Question 16. Next. How did Carlos Linnaeus classify all living things? Carlos Linnaeus, he was the first one to put the science of classification. How did he classify organisms? By their age, by the way they related to humans, by their shape and the structure, by the ability to live in cold or hot places. Carlos Linnaeus, he classified them by their shape and the structure, by their properties, not by their age or how they are related to human or where they live. Question 17. A taxonomist is a scientist who? The taxonomist is a scientist who studies taxonomy. And taxonomy studies plants only, studies specialized in animals, classifies living things, classifies non-living things. Taxonomy is a science of describing, classifying, and naming living things. So the answer will be letter C. Question 18. The seahorse found along the Atlantic coast of the United States has scientific name Hippocampus hodosonius. To what genus does the seahorse belong? As we know that the scientific name, we said before, it consists of genus name and then the species name. So what here the genus name? The first part, Hippocampus, this is the scientific name, the genus name. So the answer will be letter C. So question 19. When the text surrounding a scientific name is not italicized, then both parts of the scientific name are either italicized or, as we said, the scientific name should be written in italic way, and also it has to be underlined. If it will not be written by an angle, so we write it underlined. So question 19 is C. Next. Question 20. For hundreds of years, all organisms were classified as either plants or animals. Scientists classify organisms into two groups, animals and plants. How many kingdoms of bacteria are there today? So the answer is 2. Question 22. What type of bacteria breaks down dead plants and animals? This kind of bacteria, we call them decomposer bacteria. Question 23. What kind of bacteria cause harm to grain, fruit, and vegetables? Here we mean the harmful bacteria which cause diseases. This kind of bacteria is called pathogenic bacteria. Answer is letter D. When bacteria reproduce by binary fission, this kind of asexual reproduction, in which two cells produce a third cell, two cells produce two more cells, or one cell produces two cells, or one cell produces three or more cells. In this kind, bi it means two, so in this kind of reproduction, one cell produces or divides into two cells. So the answer is letter C. Question 25. A way to prevent viral infection is through to stop viral infection, not by taking antibiotics and not by genetic engineering or by remediation. We take vaccine by vaccination. So the vaccinations stop virus infection. Which of the following is not true of bacteria? We need here something which is not true about bacteria. That bacteria changes nitrogen into a form plants can use. Bacteria change oxygen into nitrogen, and this is actually impossible. Bacteria changes the sugar in milk to lactic acid, or bacteria change harmful chemical into harmless one. Bacteria, they can do three things here. One of them they cannot do, like they change oxygen into nitrogen. This one, bacteria, they don't do this. This is not true about bacteria. Question 27. What organisms can live where nothing else lives? The one that can live in very extreme conditions, like archaea. They can live in very salty environments, very hot environments, where nothing else can survive. So the answer is letter D. Question 28. Which of the following is not a shape of viruses? Crystal is a shape for virus, sphere also, cylinder. So spirella, this is not a shape for virus, this is a shape for bacteria. So the answer will be B. 28, letter B. Question 29. What is one function that viruses share with living things? How we can say that virus looks like living things? They eat, they move, they reproduce, they grow. Actually, they don't do A and B and D. They reproduce like living things, and this is how they look like living things. Question 30. Viruses reproduce by the virus, they have two cycles. Lysogenic cycle, they stay inactive for a while, and the lytic cycle, they become active once they enter the cell. So the two ways how they reproduce, by lysogenic cycle and lytic cycle. So the answer is letter B. Question 31. What is one way bacteria help the environment? How bacteria help environment? They change oxygen to a form a plant can use. They change nitrogen to a form plants can use. They change oxygen into nitrogen, or they change nitrogen into oxygen. C and D, this is impossible to happen in nature. So we will choose between A and B. They change oxygen to a form plants can use, or they change nitrogen to a form plants can use. We will choose letter B because they make something called nitrogen fixation. In nitrogen fixation, bacteria live on the roots of the plant, and they change nitrogen gas into nitrogen substances which plants can use. This is called nitrogen fixation. So the answer is letter B. 32. What type of medicine is used to kill bacteria? The medicine that we use to kill bacteria: antiviral, insulin, vaccine, or antibiotics. So of course the answer is antibiotics, letter D. Question 33. Which of the following is an example of bioremediation? We use bacterium bioremediation to clean up the environment and to change harmful substances into harmless ones. So the answer will be using microorganisms to clean up oil spill, or using bacteria to make yogurt, or creating plants that are resistant to bacteria, or adding nitrogen fixing bacteria to the soil before planting crops. As we said, we use them to clean up the environment, so we will choose letter A, to clean up oil spills. Question 34. Which of the following is an example of genetic engineering? In genetic engineering, scientists change the DNA of organisms. So which one here includes changing the DNA of organisms? So question 34, letter A, using microorganisms to clean up oil spills. We said that is called bioremediation, or using bacteria to make yogurt, or creating plants that are resistant to bacteria, or adding nitrogen fixing bacteria to the soil. In this question, the answer will be creating or changing the DNA of the plants to become more resistant to pathogenic bacteria. This way, we change the DNA of the plants to be more resistant to bacterial infection. So the answer will be letter C. 35. Which do antiviral medicines do? Antiviral, they don't kill the virus, but they stop virus from reproducing. So the answer is letter C. 36. Which of the following is not a common shape of bacteria? One of these shapes is not a shape for bacteria: spirella, cocci, bacilli, or crystal. Actually, A, B, and C, they are all shapes for bacteria except crystal, because crystal, this is a shape for virus. So the answer here will be crystal. And you have to take care you have to read the question very well, because here is asking about not a common shape. So it will be crystal. Question 37. Which of the following is a shape of bacteria? So here the question is asking about a shape for bacteria: sphere, bacilli, crystal, or cylinder. The only shape here for bacteria is bacilli, because the other three shapes, they all for virus. So the answer is letter B. Question 38. What is one way viruses are like living things? In this question we solved it before. We said that virus, it looks like living things in how they reproduce. 37. Most protists are made of how many cells? Most protists, they are unicellular organisms, or they have only one cell in their body. Question 40. What do chloroplasts do? They capture energy from the sun, they eat other organisms, they give the protist its shape, or they help a protist move. Chloroplast is an organelle that found inside the plant cells, which help the plant to make food, and they capture the energy from the sunlight during photosynthesis. Question 41. What process do some protists use to make their own food? This question also we said in 40. The process name is photosynthesis. So the plant uses photosynthesis to make food by using the chloroplast to capture the sunlight. This was everything for today. We stopped until here, question 41. Next video we will complete our revision sheet. See you soon and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.